Hi, this is Paul Harr from the Saxophonist.org, and I'm here reviewing and playing the new Retro Revival Tru-Slant tenor saxophone mouthpiece. You know, if I could go back in time and I could give myself some advice, say 20, 25 years ago, I would say, go into debt if you have to, but buy every hard rubber auto link on the planet. Because you're going to recoup your investment and you'll probably be able to pay off your mortgage and put your kids through college. Except in thinking about that, I'm a tenor player, so I would just hoard all the mouthpieces and hold off to them. But the reality of it is, 20, 25 years ago, you could find hard rubber auto links laying around in drawers and in music shops and in people's cases, and no one wanted them. They wanted to play hard, or they wanted to play metal auto links if they were playing them, or Berg Larsons or Gardala mouthpieces or Dukovs. But today, thanks to a whole host of great players that are playing on slant signatures, you know, I think the guy that probably started the slant signature craze was Joshua Redman. But thanks to those great players, and through the folly of regular saxophonists like myself who think that if you buy the mouthpiece you're going to sound like those players, these things became incredibly popular. If you were to try to find a good slant signature mouthpiece today, one of a number of things are going to happen. One, let's say you go on eBay, you're going to find something that's in a small tip opening, or you're going to find something that's in a larger tip opening, but it's been refaced, and you don't know if the person who refaced it did a good job, and you also don't know if the refacing of the mouthpiece changed the character to the point where it caused some problems. Three, they're going to be brutally expensive. I think the cheapest slant signature I've seen online is now somewhere around $600, and it's in terrible condition. And the other day I found one for $2,000 that was refaced by a very reputable mouthpiece technician, but nevertheless, it's been refaced and it's $2,000. Whoa. And the other thing you got to think about, the last thing you got to think about when you are buying a vintage mouthpiece is these things are almost 50, 60, 70 years old in some cases. Now, there's nothing wrong with being 50, 60, or 70 unless you're made out of hard rubber. And if you can guarantee that the mouthpiece hasn't been under any extreme temperatures, been exposed to sunlight, hasn't dried out, hasn't oxidized, then you're probably in pretty good shape. The other thing that you have to worry about is the craftsmanship that existed back in those days is legendary. But the automation and the technical prowess of those days is not. I remember Gary Foster told me a story where he and Lou Tobacco went to the Autolink factory in Florida. And Lou was trying a bunch of tenor saxophone mouthpieces, and he found like 7 or 8 of them that he really liked. And he said, yeah, ship them up to me. These will be great. And then he got the mouthpieces in Los Angeles, and he says they played like garbage. Well, it turned out that they had worked on the mouthpieces, and right when they really enjoyed it, they handed it to a guy who put them on the buffing wheel to make them look all pretty, and it changed all the characteristics of what Lou was looking for. So it's not uncommon that if you found 5 pristine 7-star slant signatures, that all 5 of them are going to play differently. Well, Retro Revival, through their process of scanning and CAD design and CNC machining, they're able to really produce the vintage mouthpieces with tremendous consistency. Like I said, this has produced a gorgeous, beautiful sound with a smokiness that's a little bit more spread. Let me give you a play test. So. It is very, very, very quick with its response. The articulation is quick. If you're somebody who likes to be able to change the color of their sound, you can go from very bright to this is a great voo-voo mouthpiece. You can even spread it and get a very Getz-like sound. You can focus the sound. You can put more air into the sound. It's really a lot of fun to play. I didn't know if the more spread sound would work in a big band setting. Fortunately, I brought it to a big band rehearsal. It not only held up with the other instruments and playing at the louder volumes, but it really blended well with the inner trombones that you'll play with. It is a fun mouthpiece to play. Now, if you're somebody that is used to having narrower chamber or more baffle to your mouthpiece, and you're looking for something along those lines, this might not be the best choice for you. You might want to check some of the other Retro Revival mouthpieces. But if what you're looking for is a classic tenor mouthpiece that responds well on all the registers and allows you to create the sound concept that you have, I think this is an important part to end this review. These are great mouthpieces. They're not cheap, but any piece of equipment that's worth its salt isn't going to be cheap. I kind of equate it to a good meal. No one remembers how much they paid for a 5-star meal. They only remember how much they paid for a bad meal. No mouthpiece. Retro Revival has really proven their worth to me as a tenor player and as a teacher. But no mouthpiece is going to make your sound go from bad to good. Just like no tennis racket is going to make you hit the shots well. So if you have a concept of how to play the saxophone, if you know what you're looking for and you want to get your voice out, this mouthpiece makes it not only easy, but enjoyable. So if you want to check out a review of 5 of the mouthpieces that we were fortunate to review on thesaxophonist.org, go to www.thesaxophonist.org and check out our review and check out Retro Revival. You'll be glad you did.